Hi, I'm Candace and I'm going to show you how to do some DIY face masks because we're all stuck in quarantine and what else are we going to do? So what kind of fabrics are you going to need? They suggest that we use cotton because it's breathable. It only catches up to about 50% of the pathogens, but they say 50% is better than nothing. You can use it for yourself when you go out for essential runs like to the grocery store, to the doctor, or if you have local areas and hospitals that are asking for donations, you can sew them and send it. What we're gonna need today is some sewing machines, some cotton fat quarters, because fat quarters are perfect size for 2 masks each. We're gonna need some pins for pinning our fabric together, some scissors, some elastic for behind your ears, or if you prefer to get some ribbons to tie instead of having the elastic, you need to have your handy dandy lighter to serge the edges together so that they don't unravel while you're wearing them. And then of course, because we're all Lolitas, so we have to be super extra when making face masks for ourselves, because awesome printed fabric isn't cool enough. If you have any Brando ribbons like I do, we're gonna need that, or some sort of ribbon to make it more kawaii when we're putting it on our face. The type of masks that we're gonna do today is gonna be in the style of the basic surgical masks with the little folds like that on your face. And on the back, we're gonna leave little holes in the middle to put any extra filter material if you have access to it, but if it's anywhere like here, all that shit's gone, so good luck finding it.
So I already did this before filming, but you're going to want to take your fat quarter and divide it into 2 even pieces. They should all be about the same size, so no matter which way you fold it, it comes out the same way. Once you have your half, fold it inside out with the print side facing together. You're going to want to iron it straight and make it as flat as possible to make it easier for you to sew. Piece is ironed and it's ready to go. You're going to want to sew the top section together and leave the 2 sides open. Remember to leave a little extra room away from the edge of the fabric so you'll have room to serge the edges later. Once you're done, open up your pocket and adjust so that you can iron the 2 ends flat. You need to open up the ends and have them ironed so that they're facing away from each other and from the seam. Once it's flat, you're going to use a zigzag stitch to hold the flaps down and keep the edges from unraveling. If you have a seam ripper, that's great. Unfortunately, I've lost my seam ripper, so instead I'm using my scissors to undo the seam right here in the middle. This hole will be where you are going to turn your mask right side out later on, and it will also allow for filters to be placed inside once you're done, if you're lucky enough to have access to one. Next, we are going to sew down the remaining 2 open sides. I'm going to be lazy here and not put an extra zigzag stitch on the ends because this is for personal use, and also because it's going to be on the inside, I hopefully shouldn't have to worry about it coming undone too much. Good job! Now we just need to turn it right side out, and we're almost done. It's getting a little redundant, but you're going to want to iron it one more time to make sure it's nice and flat. Now the tricky part here is folding the mask. I noticed that if you start the folds from the bottom and work your way up, it's easier to make the fold straight. Take your time. Sometimes I have to readjust once or twice till I'm happy. Careful not to poke yourself with the pins. I do that a lot. It's not fun. You're going to iron it again and get your folds nice and flat. In my local stores, the elastic for masks are all sold out, but I have a lot of this crafting elastic cord that I've been using for my masks. After measuring how long they need to be, I make a little knot at the end of each elastic to keep it from slipping out from beneath the stitches. Plus, it also makes it easier to pin in place. You're not just gonna stitch over the knots though, you wanna make it to the side. The idea is that the knot is there to catch the stitch to keep the elastic from falling out of place. Go slow while sewing the folds in place. You want to try to keep them flat and uniform. After this, you're pretty much done, but the ends may look a bit ugly, and that's why I like to use a bit of ribbon to cover over the edges. Measure your ribbon out on each side, making sure that there's a bit of extra on each end to fold over to the back. Then use your lighter to keep the edges from fraying before sewing it in place. Pin down the ribbon and sew starting on one side of the ribbon, and then sew down the other side. Once you're done with one ribbon, then you can go on to the opposite side. And now you're finished.
Ignore this little crooked parts. I'm still just a novice, but then you can just pop it on. You are good to go. All right, and that's it. Now you have your own bona fide handmade face mask. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will try my best to help you out to the best of my ability. Stay safe.